Hello guys, this is Kumar and I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel. Guys, today I'm going to discuss with you a very different, a very quaint poem that is Because I Could Not Stop for Death, and it has been written by Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson was born in 1830 and died in 1886. In this poem, the poetess describes her imaginative experience of death. She speculates about the meaning of death and probes the mystery of life after death. This poem is in the form of a narrative. The poetess personifies death as a cautious gentleman. Death meets her on the road of life. He takes her in his carriage for a ride. The poem describes this ride and the feelings of the poetess during this ride. The ride is a symbol of man's last journey on this earth. The carriage is a symbol of the years. In this poem, idea of death is treated without any of the emotions of fear, anxiety, or pain. It is personified as a gentle friend who is taking the poetess on a carriage ride to eternity. Another passenger in the carriage is immortality. Thus, life after death is seen as an eternal journey. Now, let us discuss the poem in detail. Because I Could Not Stop for Death by Emily Dickinson. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. He here means death. The poetess has personified death in her poem. Carriage means chariot, rath held means had as riders, immortality means deathlessness. So the poetess says that she had no time to think about death in her life. She remained all the time busy in her worldly activities. She never spared time to think about death. Then one day, death came with his carriage. He was riding along the road. He stopped for the poetess. He asked the poetess to go with him for a ride. The other companion in the carriage was immortality. In simple words, a man never stops to think about death in his life. But death does come one day. It ends man's journey on this earth, but this is not the final end. After the end of the mortal life on this earth, there is immortal life for us in heaven. Now let us discuss the second stanza. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too for his civility. He knew no haste means death was in no hurry. Put away means stopped. Labor means labor, worldly work. Leisure means spare time for rest. For his civility means as a mark of courtesy to him. So the poetess starts her imaginative ride with death. She says that death, the driver or the lover, drove his carriage slowly. He was in no haste. The poetess put away all her activities. She abandoned all her labor and leisure of life. Death was very civil and courteous to the poetess. He gave her a ride in his carriage. Therefore, the poetess gave up all her activities in order to accompany death. The poetess imagines death coming to her very gently. She accepts the fact of death very calmly. There is no pain associated with the thought of death. Now let us discuss the third stanza of this poem. We passed the school where children played. At wrestling in a ring, we passed the fields of grazing grain. We passed the setting sun. Scarcely means hardly. Gazing grain means it was as if the crops were growing in the fields were looking at those in the carriage. Examples: the poetess, death, and immortality. Gazing grain means it was as if the crops growing in the fields were looking at those in the carriage. Example: the poetess, death, and immortality. The poetess says that the carriage passed by a school. The children were playing there. They were playing at wrestling in a ring. Then the carriage passed by the fields. Crops were growing there. Grains were gazing at the riders. Lastly, the carriage passed by the setting sun. In fact, the mind of the poetess goes back to the past. She thinks of the journey of life that leads ultimately to death. The school, the grain, and the setting sun are respectively the symbols of childhood, youth, and old age. Let us read the fourth stanza now. Or rather, he passed us, the dews drew quivering and chill, for only gossamer, my gown, my tippet, only tulle. Or rather, he passed means quite literally the sun passes her because it falls below the horizon. But reading a little deeper into it, Dickinson suggests that maybe that's what death is like, the sun, light, and warmth leaving you to the cold darkness that is death. Dickinson uses personification again as she refers to the sun. Why do you think that is? It seems the farther along in the journey they get, the farther from the living world they get. There are no other people or animals, and it's getting dark. It's a little spooky at this point. The fact that the adjustment, or rather, is made after the stanza break only enhances the spookiness. The long pause between stanzas allows us to notice that the poem is about to make a shift away from the sunny ordinary day into something more grave, pun intended. The dews drew quivering and chill, for only gossamer, my gown, my tippet, only tulle. Gossamer is used here to describe her gown as of very thin and delicate material. Tippet is an old-fashioned shawl or shoulder cape, and this one's made of tulle, which is silky and thin like gossamer. The dew of night is setting in because the sun has gone down. She is now getting chilly because she isn't wearing warm enough clothing, that thin tulle. The fact that she is underdressed for this journey also reflects that she is underprepared. This stanza echoes what we discovered in the beginning line. This is not her choice, and she was not planning this trip with death. Cold is something often associated with death in literature and in movies, so it's no coincidence that Dickinson is lowering the temperature on us here. Now let us read the fifth stanza of this poem. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice but a mound. Paused means stopped, halted. Swelling means rising heap. Scarcely visible means could hardly be seen. Cornice is an ornamental molding of a wall below the ceiling, but a mound means only a heap of earth. So the carriage then stopped before a house. It was just like a swelling of the ground. The roof of this house was hardly visible. Its cornice was at the level of the ground. The house is here a symbol of the grave. Man's journey of life ends in the grave. Now let us read the last stanza of this poem. Since then 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity. Centuries means many hundred years. Surmised means thought, supposed, guessed. Eternity means heaven, which is eternal and beyond death. So in the last stanza of the poem, the poetess says that centuries has passed since the end of that journey, and yet each of those centuries now seems to be shorter than a day even. The poetess says that even at the time of the ride, she had guessed that the carriage horses were leading her to eternity. Thus, Emily Dickinson accepts the fact of death. She believes that death leads not to destruction but to eternal life. Time becomes a meaningless thing in the life after death. So here our present poem, Because I Could Not Stop for Death by Emily Dickinson, finally ends. I hope you enjoyed the poem. I hope you liked the poem. And if you have any doubt, please write it in the comment section. I will try to answer your question. Please like, share, comment on the video if you like the content. And please subscribe the channel for further such updates. Thank you very much for joining the video.